of you are doing well. And with that hope, let me proceed with this particular session. So here we are going to discuss about the evolution of international business. Uh, Many times I have said, and right now also I am saying that uh, this international business as a whole, this particular concept as a whole, is as old as human civilization. Even during Harappan civilization, the Sumerian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, even at that time, international trade used to flourish. So it's not a new thing, only the dimension, the structure, the rules, regulations, they have changed. But international business had its priority in the ancient civilization. It is having priority right now also. And these days, because of advancement in science and technology, advancement in productivity, advancement in what you call the learning process of human beings. So, because of all these sophistications, international trade or international business has actually grown up by leaps and bounds. So, if we speak about the key phases, the key phases in the evolution of international business, it can be categorized into five types. I will share the slides with you. The first one is ancient trade route. You might have heard about the Silk Route, the very famous Silk Route, and it passes from India. It goes through China, and it used to connect Europe and Asia also through Turkey. So during that time, this route was followed by most of the businessmen, and unfortunately, this route was followed by invaders also who used to invade the Middle East, Asia, and India as a whole. But this ancient Silk Route actually is very prominent. It was prominent back on those days for uplifting the international trade practices across the globe. That was the ancient time. Then came the colonial period. Colonial period means Britishers when they came to our country, likewise Portuguese, and so French, likewise some other European countries. They started building up colonies in Southeast Asian countries, even in African countries, and for the sake of their economic interest, they actually started forming colonies. But anyhow, this colonial era was also there, and during this time also international trade flourished, and unfortunately India does not have a good experience during the colonial phase. Likewise, other colonies were mostly used for exploitation purpose. They were not given due advantage. But anyhow, during this particular phase, European countries which were forming colonies across the world, so those countries flourished a lot. So those countries developed a lot, and Europe became very, very developed during this particular period, which is known as colonial period. And after independence, after the middle of the 20th century, this colonial period, it totally it eclipsed. It went away. The next one is industrial revolution. Well, industrial revolution, being the student of commerce, you might have heard about this. So many industrial revolutions have taken place. Right now, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. But the first industrial revolution, which took place in the middle of the 17th century, which took place in Britain and France, that is really remarkable. And that came because of what you say that electric, what you call steam engine, and because of railway track development, and because of iron and steel factory, that particular industrial revolution came into place. Then came the cotton revolution, then came the electronic revolution, and right now we are living in the world of digital revolution. So this is the fourth industrial revolution, and definitely, undoubtedly, without any doubt or debate, we can say that industrial revolution also played a very significant role in expanding the territories of international business. Likewise, World War took place, the First World War, the Second World War. Within a span of 20 years, these two World Wars took place. The Second World War ended up in 1945. That was a very bad period across the globe. Most of the countries, including developing countries, were economically very, very weak. they became economically very, what you call fragile because of 6 years of World War which took place. It happens if any country gets involved in war for a span of 5 to 6 years. That is a very normal phenomenon. So after that, World Bank and World Bank and some other associated organizations of UN, they came into establishment, and because of which the global international scenario, business scenario, in particular, it advanced a lot. So we are living right now in a good time. We are living in the fourth industrial revolution, and fortunately, since last you can say around 80 or 85 years, we have not witnessed any world war. Okay, so that is all about World War phase, post World War phase. So that was a time of economic expansion and lot of international business advancement took place. Last one is 21st century globalization, and we can just say that this particular page commenced after 1980s across the world. China globalized itself in 1970s, and some other Asian countries, they started walking in the path of globalization post 1990, right? 1970s, 80s. Unfortunately, in India, we started this globalization phase somewhat late in the early part of 1990. So it had been better if you would have started this globalization phase some 10, 20 years earlier. Okay, whatever has happened, but right now, this is the world of post globalization, and India has witnessed a significant growth. All right, we have witnessed a sea change in the rate of GDP, reduction in poverty, technological advancement, technological betterment, increase in food productivity in all parameters, even in defense field. Our country has witnessed a significant growth, especially in last 10 to 15 years. If you look at the statistical figures, we have definitely gained a lot. And yeah, so this phase is right now underway, and this phase is continuing. And next phase will also come, so we have to wait what is the next phase. So till then, we are in the fifth phase, that is 21st century globalization. Okay, so this is all about the evolution of international business. Then let us discuss about the next heading, that is modern devices for international business. Okay, all these notes and what you call PPT presentations I will provide you. Don't worry about that. In the class, I will provide you, and after the classes are over, all PPTs and notes will be provided. You need not worry about that at all. So here, modern drivers of international business includes globalization. Already we have discussed about globalization. Second one is free trade agreement. So many countries, they are entering into free trade agreement just to boost up their economic trade, export and import. These free trade agreements, they have been signed. If you ask me example, then there was a free trade agreement between Canada, USA. Likewise, Scandinavian countries like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. So these countries were also, they were having a free trade agreement. In Asia also, there are some countries which have entered for free trade agreements, and definitely it's a good move to increase the turnover of export and import. The next one is technological innovations. Well, many a times we have discussed that technology plays a very crucial role, and this is the time where we are living in the age of technological advancement only. And the technology plays a very crucial role for the economic development of a country and for the expansion of international business also. Very simple examples let me cite before you. You can take the example of countries like Taiwan, small country but technologically extremely advanced. It exports mostly semiconductor and other what you call laptop chips. Along with that, we can cite examples of Israel. That is a fantastic example because it's a desert area, very small area, but technologically too advanced. And even countries like India, we are procuring technology from countries like Israel, like drip irrigation technique we have procured from them. Okay, so now after discussing these two things, let me just share some PPTs before you. Evolution of international business. Today I discussed about this. So you can look at the slide which mentions that the history of international commerce or business, you can say, spans centuries evolving alongside globalization, technological progress, and international legislation. Key phases in evolution, just now I discussed with you, there are 5 phases and all these things are mentioned over here. Just you can just go through. The first page is ancient trade relations. I mentioned regarding Silk Route. Here also the same thing is mentioned. The second one is the colonial period. This was the time when Britishers came to India, they ruled our country. The third page is regarding industrial revolution, where I told you about what you call the transportation, railway transportation, which came to the fore. Along with that, iron and steel sector came into prominence. Along with that, cotton, they also came into prominence, but that was the next industrial revolution. Then was post-World War II. So after post-World War II, again, because IMF, World Bank, WTO, they came into existence. They are the regulatory bodies and they control the world trade related things. 21st century globalization, we discussed about this just a couple of minutes earlier. Then modern drivers of international business, just now I discussed with you, globalization, free trade agreements, technological innovations, global communication networks. Okay. Next one is nature of international business, right? Well, you see, the nature of international business is mostly governed by certain factors like diversity, right? Political factors are responsible. Economic factors, they contribute to the nature of international business. Legal factors are there. And factors, cultural elements are also there, which contribute to the nature of international business. Now, if we discuss precisely about the characteristics of international business, the first one is cross-border transactions. Yes, international business means the goods and services should pass from one country to another country. For this, the exchange of goods and services technology should take place between two or more than two countries. And here, crossing of border is required. The second one is legal and regulatory frameworks. Every nation, they have got their own law. In India, we are having our own law. Likewise, if you go to some other country, they will have their own laws, rules, and regulations. So that is another important thing because this international business and trade will have to abide by the rules, regulations, laws of the country in which the transaction is happening. The next one is currency exchange. Different countries have got different currencies. Europe is having a single currency, euro, but Britain has exited from that European Union. And other countries like US, they are having their own currency, US dollar, and that is the internationally recognized currency. China is having their own currency, likewise India and other countries, they are having their own currency. And mostly the transaction or currency exchange takes place in dollar only, but there are some countries like China and Russia which are accepting their own currency. They are not following this US currency because of some legal restrictions upon Russia, and China is implementing their own policy. Next one is cultural diversity. Yes, cultural diversity plays a very important role in defining the nature of business. Cultural factors play a very crucial role in deciding what type of business they will thrive in a particular area, they will sustain in a particular area. Next one is political risk. Definitely political risks. Very recently, we have seen that Donald Trump has become the president of United States of America. And right now, after his arrival, in the second tenure, we have seen that he is making some drastic changes in the policies. And the stock markets of India, China, and across the globe is crashing. There are so many factors which are responsible for the crash, but one of the significant factors is arrival of Donald Trump and his policies, which are mostly national and which are mostly protective policies, which is implementing higher rate of tariffs, is implementing, and because of that reason, actually there is political risk and economic downturn related risk is also there. Okay, so this is all about the nature of international business. In the last part, let us discuss is the difference between international business and domestic business. So, dear participant, the first one is scope. The scope of domestic business is narrower. It happens within the territory of a country, whereas the scope of international business is very broad. It takes place across the globe. Legal framework also. Domestic business is confined to the rules regulations of that particular country, but international trade and business is confined to the globe as a whole. So those countries who do a lot of export and import, they have to follow the legal framework of other countries as well. And currency also, different countries have got different currency. If a domestic business is doing its business, it has to rely upon single currency. But if a multinational corporation is there, they have to take a resort to, or they have to deal with multiple type of currencies and exchange rates. And the next one is market. International business totally depends upon global markets. Global norms are also there, and domestic business is confined to the geographical territory of that particular country. Cultural factors also in a domestic business, there is less cultural diversity. In India, India is an exception because in India so many states are there and lot many cultures are there. But if you go to other countries, you will not find cultural diversity there. But definitely, if we take a global picture or global scenario, then there is less cultural diversity in domestic business, whereas in international business, there is lot of cultural diversity. You can call it dilution also and diversity as well, both. Then risk is there in domestic business, the quantum of risk is low. In international business, the quantum of risk will be definitely on the higher side. Okay. So I am visible right now. So let us begin our Q&A session. If you have got any doubt, you are given some time. You can ask me whatever doubt you have relating to today's class.